What if I told you your sadness, anger, and fear are not your enemies? What if the emotions you keep trying to remove are the very things your mind needs to heal? Let me tell you a story about a gardener who learned this the hard way. There was once a young gardener named Elara. She wanted to create the perfect garden. Every morning, she walked through her garden, removing anything she thought was ugly or bad. If she saw thorns, she cut them off. If weeds grew, she pulled them out. If leaves dried and fell, she cleaned them away immediately. She believed one thing: a beautiful garden should have only beautiful things. At first, her garden looked perfect. People came from far away to admire it. What a beautiful garden! And Elara smiled proudly. But slowly, something began to change. The flowers lost their color. The bees stopped coming. The butterflies disappeared. The soil became dry. And little by little, the garden began to die. Elara panicked. She watered more, worked harder, removed even more weeds and thorns. But nothing helped. One evening, she fell on her knees in the dirt and cried, "Why is my garden dying? I removed everything bad. Why it's still dying?" Suddenly, an old woman appeared, a traveler with kind eyes and soil on her hands. She looked at the garden and said, "Because you do not understand how gardens work." Elara looked confused. The woman pointed to a rose bush. "You cut off the thorns, but thorns protect the rose." She pointed to the weeds. "Not every weed is harmful. Some help the soil stay healthy." She picked up a dry leaf. Even dry leaves feed the earth. Then she looked on Elara's eyes and said, "A garden is not beautiful because it has only flowers. It is beautiful because everything in it has a purpose." Elara whispered, "Everything?" The woman smiled. "Yes, even storm, even weeds, even fallen leaves." Then she placed her hand on Elara's heart. "And your emotions are the same." Elara stood still. The woman continued, "You kept trying to remove sadness, hide anger, ignore fear, push away pain, because you think only happiness is acceptable." She gently said, "But every emotion has a purpose. Sadness helps you process loss. Anger tells you when something is unfair. Fear protects you from danger. Guilt helps you learn from mistakes. Grief shows that something mattered deeply. Tears filled Elara's eyes. For the first time, she understood she had not been crying for her garden. She had been fighting it. From that day on, she stopped fearing every storm. She stopped hating every fallen leaf. She stopped cutting every thorn. And instead, she asked, "What is this trying to teach me?" Slowly, life returned. The flowers bloomed again. The bees came back. Butterflies danced in the air. And though the garden was no longer perfect, it became more beautiful than ever. Because now it was real. And whenever people asked Elara the secret of a beautiful garden, she smiled and said, "It became healthy when I stopped trying to remove everything uncomfortable." Then she would whisper, "The same is true for the human heart." Final therapeutic reflection. Many of us treat our emotions the way Elara treated her garden. We believe sadness, anger, fear, anxiety, grief are signs something is wrong with us. But mental health is not about feeling happy all the time. It is about learning how to make space for every emotion without letting any single one destroy the whole garden. You do not need to eliminate your painful emotions to heal. You need to understand them, because every emotion has a purpose, even the painful one.